Hey guys, Angelique here. In today's video, I'll be sharing 14 genius ways to save money on a low income in 2021. Now, before I jump into the goods of this video, I just wanted to let you guys know about the free workshop we have going on where we are giving out the exact strategy on how this 62-year-old woman was able to make $160,000 in just 90 days. If you are interested in learning more, make sure you check out the link in my description. When every paycheck you earn is just barely enough to cover your expenses, saving money is probably one of the last things on your mind. Nonetheless, it is super critical to have a money saving strategy that focuses on effective money management when it comes to your income that comes in every month, but also making sure that you're covering your living expenses, but also putting some money away for yourself in the future. It's so important, and I could not stress that enough. In this video, I'll be sharing 14 genius ways to actually save money on a low income. First things first, let's focus on your monthly expenses. Is your income low, or are your expenses too high? Take a look at the big picture of your expenses and try to track exactly how much money is going where and when. Knowing your income might be as simple as looking at your paycheck every month, but knowing your expenses is a bit trickier to track, which is why it's so important. Essentially, the best way to track how much everything is going where is to write it all down. You can either do this with pen and paper, or you can do it digitally with a monthly expense tracker. After a few weeks of actually tracking your expenses, you'll be able to see where your money is going. If you feel like suddenly you have a paycheck and then suddenly you look in your bank account and all the money is gone, tracking your expenses is definitely a good place to start because it brings all of your expenses into your awareness, and then it also allows you to track how much you're spending daily, how much you're spending weekly, and then eventually how much you're spending monthly and how much you're spending yearly. So tracking it brings your money expenses into your awareness. So important when it comes to actually saving money. Now, once you've tracked all your monthly outgoings, the next thing you need to focus on is paying yourself first. You might not ever have thought of thinking of saving money in this way, but if you think about it, most of the money that we earn is spent paying other people. You know, our rent, our utilities, our food, our living expenses, a lot of it goes to paying other businesses and other business owners. The truth is, you should also prioritize actually paying yourself first. And that essentially is what saving is you are paying you in your future self first. If you worry about paying everything other than yourself first, when you finally get around to actually putting money away for yourself, you might realize there's not a lot left. That's why I highly recommend paying yourself first. Make sure you allocate a certain percentage of your income every month, whether that's 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever much you can afford to put away every single month. Make that promise to you and your future self and pay yourself first before you pay things such as your rent, food, etc., etc. Once I changed my relationship with savings to this, I completely feel like I transformed the amount I was actually saving. The third thing you can do is save money to different bank accounts. Separating your money into different bank accounts helps you ensure you know where your money is going and what pots of money and expenses they belong in. When I did this for myself, I felt like my control over my finances completely skyrocketed. I have 4 primary checking accounts, which I also sometimes treat as saving accounts, which is personal checking, which essentially covers all my living expenses and monthly expenses for the month. My emergency fund, so basically money that I'm putting away in case there's ever an emergency in my life and I need to have a couple $1,000s put away. Essentially, your emergency fund should be at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up in account. So tracking that, making sure you have money put away in an emergency fund is so important. The next thing I have is a condo fund, which I've actually started recently. A few months ago, I made it a goal that within the next 5 years or so that I want to buy a condo or an apartment or some sort of property so that I can start building my asset column. Making sure I have a condo fund was super important to me. Might not be very important to you, but it was an account that I feel like I wanted to create a checking account for. And the fourth one is my my fun fund. So basically anything from traveling to concerts to whatever it may be, I'm putting money away into this account that I can't touch because it's just for play, just for fun, for my future self. So I have those 4 primary accounts that I always am, that I'm constantly distributing my income into every single month. Those different pots might be different for you. For example, say for example you have a child, maybe putting money away for, you know, your future child's university is something that you want to prioritize. So maybe even opening up a savings or a checking account for that is also a great option. Again, you'll want to make sure that the actual accounts and the names of accounts fit what you want to create in your life. I have certain percentage goals that I'd like to try to hit every single month based on my income, but because I'm an entrepreneur, it's always fluctuating. So some months I can distribute more and some months I can distribute less depending on my finances in that particular month. Depending on your bank or credit union, you might need to pay an extra fee to have multiple different bank accounts. Definitely worth reaching out to your bank for, because opening these different accounts for me really allowed me to manage my money in a more efficient way. I feel like when it's all in one account, you can't really separate the money and what it's for, but distributing money into these different accounts every month is like, okay, if it's not in my personal checking, I cannot spend it. Whereas if it's in one of my other accounts, my condo fund, my emergency fund, my fun fund, basically I can't touch it until I'm ready to buy a flight. Maybe if I'm saved enough money to do so in that particular fun fund that I've been working towards. You might not think separating your finances into different accounts is beneficial, but I personally have been able to find really great value in doing so. The 4th thing is to create a budget plan. Unless you have a plan for how you're going to spend your money, it will make it really easy to spend it. When you create a budget for how you plan to spend money, which includes your saving goals, you have so much more control over your money situation. Instead of aimlessly trying to save at the end of every single month, you can actually plan how much you're going to save before your paycheck even comes in. Take your monthly income and distribute it to all the different things that you plan to buy for the month. For example, if your rent was $600 last month and your electric bill was $100 a month, basically from there you'll want to subtract $700 from the amount of money that came in that month, and whatever is left over you'll then be able to distribute into things like groceries, transportation costs, savings, etc. Learning how to budget is super beneficial because it allows you to track where your money is going before your money even comes in, especially if you're on a low income. The 5th thing you should consider is lowering your housing costs. Housing expense is probably one of your biggest expenses that you have. So if you can cut down on your housing expenses just by a few $100s per month, it can really open up the amount that you actually have left to save for yourself. It could essentially make a huge difference in the amount you save, but also your overall quality of life. You can consider downsizing, moving to a new location, or if you have extra space in your home, actually renting out rooms. The 6th thing is to actually be mindful on how much you're actually spending on food. Yes, I know a lot of the times ordering takeout can be super convenient, especially if you're working all day long, but food bills rack up over time. If you can look for ways to cut your restaurant spending, make sure you do so. Pack a lunch, batch cook meals. I essentially like to spend a few hours on Sundays batch prepping my meals, whether that's batch cooking a ready cooked meal that I can freeze in multiple different portions, or just chopping vegetables so that I don't have to spend time chopping if I want to whip something quick. So basically chopping onions, garlic, veggies, things like that allows me to not only save money and cut down the restaurant spending, it also allows me to make sure that I'm actually feeding my body with nutritious food because I don't have the lack of time as an excuse for not cooking food. The 7th thing is to automate your saving goals. So what I've done with my savings account is to set up automatic bank transfers after every month that I get paid. So I typically get paid on the last day of the month, and then a few days after I'll set up a recurring savings based on my goal for that month. You'll be able to breathe knowing that you don't have to do anything, but essentially your bank is pulling your savings out for you. What's left over in your bank once your savings is pulled out, then it's basically all the money you have left to spend for the month. The next thing is to try to find free and affordable entertainment. Netflix, Spotify, TV cable, or any subscription-based entertainment is just another cost added to your monthly expenses. If you can try to figure out different ways you can entertain yourself for free, then it'll save you the cost of your monthly subscription fees that are constantly going out every month. YouTube is obviously a free source of entertainment, games. Maybe in your town or city, you might have some sort of thing like free concerts or yoga in the park or whatever it may be, going on hikes. Try to think of a few ways to actually entertain yourself for free so that you can cut down different expenses in other areas of your life. The ninth thing is to try to buy your groceries online. This may seem counterintuitive because oftentimes people think ordering online is more expensive due to convenience, but ordering groceries online can actually be super beneficial to your budget. When you're at the grocery store, you can become easily distracted to things on sale or products that you might have never heard of, or even things that you don't need like chips and soda and dessert and what have you. You don't necessarily need those things, but when you're physically at the grocery store, it's really easy for you to just grab them off the shelf and put it in your cart. On the contrary, when you're actually shopping online, as you add groceries to your cart, you can actually visually see your cart total increasing with every single item that you add to your cart, which allows you to actually stay on budget in a lot more efficient way. When you add things to your cart in the grocery store, you don't really see how those different items are adding up, but if you do it online, then you can actually see how every single item adds a few cents, few dollars to your overall cart costs. When you shop online, it allows you to have a better control over the money you're actually spending on groceries and stick to your grocery budget a lot more effectively. The 10th thing you can think about doing is selling some of your belongings. Mark a day on your calendar where every single year you do a spring cleaning and basically sell any item you haven't used in the past year. There are so many things that we own that other people can find valuable, and if it's in good enough condition, you can even sell it and make a couple bucks. Make a pile for things to sell and things to give away depending on what condition they're in, but it's always nice that you can resell some of the stuff that you no longer use, and also allows you to put some extra bucks in your pocket for that month. The 11th thing is to think about buying secondhand. Now, who doesn't love a good thrift shop? You can pretty much buy anything secondhand, from clothes to furniture to appliances, basically anything you name it. There is a lot of recycled goods that are out there that are half the price of it brand new. When you buy secondhand, you'll be able to indulge a bit more often for things that you want, but then also save so much more because it is being bought secondhand. The 12th thing is to unsubscribe from all of your favorite shops. Sales are a deep, dark trap that you do not want to fall into, so making sure you unsubscribe to popular shops that you often shop at to avoid those sales, not knowing about them, is one of the best things you can do for yourself, especially if you're looking to save money. So unsubscribing from any shops that you constantly shop at is a really, really great way to help make sure that you're on track to saving money. 13 is to go out to places that actually don't cost money. Your social life is important, and I understand that, but getting drinks, going out for meals, going to concerts, going shopping, things like that are typically social events with friends do cost money. So if you can figure out ways to be social for free, then you can definitely put away more into your savings. So do things like inviting friends over instead of going out for a walk instead of going to the pool, finding a free concert in the city instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a different way to entertain yourself. Once you know how to spend your free time doing things for fun, for free, you'll then be able to open up an extra chunk of your monthly income that you can put towards savings. And the 14th thing, which might not sound like a savings method, but it is indirectly, is to actually make more money. At some point, you might not be able to squeeze any more pennies out of your budget, or you might want to create a bit more breathing room for your finances. So looking for ways to make more money, whether that be online or picking up a side job, is super, super critical, because then it allows you to save more money over the long term. Although I know it's not as simple as it sounds, finding places to make more money is definitely doable. Whether you want to walk dogs, build a blog, do something online. There are a variety of different side jobs you can take on to earn extra cash every single month. When it comes to saving money on a low income, I know oftentimes it can be discouraging, but it is definitely doable. Take a minute and be honest with yourself about your current finances and your current saving goals, and write them all down so that you get crystal clear with what it is you actually want to achieve when it comes to saving money. Opening up this door and writing it down makes it a lot more reachable because it becomes almost within your realm of existence. So make sure you're writing things down. I hope you were able to find some sort of value and advice from this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to make sure you get notified every single time I post. Again, I know I mentioned it in the beginning of this video, but if you're looking for ways to make money online, make sure you check out the link in my description to find out more about how this 62-year-old woman was able to make $160,000 in just 90 days. Again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.